What's up, everybody? And we're back. I'm hoping to get this one out so we can have week after week because the response was fairly positive overall. This week, we have a little bit of drama that kind of crossed our path, which was Maas Toys, their connection with Maketoys, Fansproject, and Unrustable Bastards. Spence, who made a public post on TFW, said that he had had a falling out with them. As a result, some of the molds, well, not the molds so much, but the releases of figures from those molds may be delayed or not happen at all. Same thing to do with the Maas Toys stuff, I would assume. And this was brought to light by another individual who made a post about it, and then Spence kind of reacted to that post. And whenever I say Spence, I think about Jack Nicholson and As Good As It Gets. He's like, I love the way you care for Spence.
Just to fact check you, it's not all of their products that there's an issue with.
I agree.
It's the Uninvestable Bastards. I think there's a purple one and maybe a black one or something. If I'm wrong.
Yeah, I got the same impression.
That was funded, and the issue there was that the factory had the mold and the company that took the money. So those two products, one was paid for, and apparently that's the issue of the consumers, out of their money, those figures coming out because the factory has the mold. But the Maas Toys stuff, because I believe my read of those posts that he has other factories, so it just seems like the other stuff is coming out and that the finances are compartmentalized, that there is no issue with those modes or those releases. It's really just the Uninvestable Bastards. And I'm not cursing.
No, that's their name. Well, I think they changed it to just Unrustables,
and the Maas Tetrajets.
Yeah, so that's what the one guy said was the Tetrajets. But when Spence responded, he said that that Maas Toys was fine, that it wasn't affected by this. I am willing to take Spence at his word because he's always been straight up with me. But if that one doesn't come to fruition, that was crowdfunded, because the purple one and the black one of the Unrustables, they were just going to be regular releases, right? They weren't crowdfunded, or were they?
I thought the purple one was.
Oh, it may have been.
So my biggest issue with it is whatever. These guys getting upset with the factory and they're having a falling out is fine. My issue with it is the way that post is written is that he's just like, well, look, you guys paid me. I paid them, or I paid them partially, and now nothing's going to happen. And it kind of makes it sound like, everybody's kind of, I was about to drop an F-bomb. Everybody's F-bomb.
Left holding the bag.
Right. It's like an accountability issue. Like, who is going to be accountable for these funds that were acquired?
And my attitude for that is that if regardless of what happens on your distribution, if you take money from somebody for a product, you either have to give them that product or give them their money back.
I agree with that.
It's tough. I feel bad for the guy, but that's business.
Right? Yeah. I wonder what their bottom line is, because I would imagine that's what it's going to come down to, is if they were to try to get, because I'm sure they have the designs, if they were to pay for new molds, what is the loss they take on that with shipping? Because obviously I would imagine they would give it to the crowdfunded people and then put it on, the distributors and retailers' websites to sell, but that's where they might have to break even if they can.
The way that post sounded like that wasn't even an option. Like, it's just like, see you when I see you.
Yeah, I agree that is how it came across, but I feel like that's like a viable way to save face, maybe?
There's another way that companies do. They cover losses like this in business that I don't necessarily agree with either, but they can keep producing, maintain their good name, but they're still passing the cost off on the consumers by simply raising their price point moving forward to offset their losses.
Well, for their previous loss. That's true.
Well, now based on that, they don't even have the option to do that, because now, I'm not taking a chance on again.
Well, that's the problem. That's short-sighted. Do I basically undermine my good name for X amount of dollars? Because am I going to be investable in the future? Are these bastards going to be investable? Because for investment, right, you need confidence,
right,
as a consumer.
And I wonder if the two designers, Nick and Sid, I think, were the two guys that were heading up the Unrustables, if they have come forward at all or said anything about it at all, because it's kind of their name and reputation on the line as well, not so much on the business end, but definitely on the creative end, that they're going to be tied to it.
But does that affect you? Like, if a designer's like, hey, look, this company approached me, or I approached this company, and then once I just design it, it's out of my hands. Like, I don't fault the guy who drew who designed the product or who drew it.
No, not one bit. But this is theirs. I think Spence was helping them. You know what I mean?
So but why is he the one making this? Like, then I think that those dudes need to come out and make a statement.
Yeah,
Whoever is responsible for the money.
Well, see, I think so. I
I
think he might have handled the finances of it. This is the impression I'm getting from reading this. I should have Spence on maybe for a sit-down Saturday or something to address that, if he would be willing. Normally, I would just skip all of this. Do you know what I mean? But it's the fact that people do have this kind of pre-order crowdfunding thing invested that it does give it more gravitas, for lack of a better term, in terms of its impact.
You reviewed some of those figures, right?
The first release. I borrowed it.
Unvestable, what did you call them?
Robert calls them uninvestable.
Robert, did you buy any of those figures? Do you own any of those?
No, I think they look cool. I love motorcycles too, but it's just my real estate is so limited. I really can't justify it. And those guys are very passionate about it. Not the last TF comment, the one before at Resden. What's it called? Resden.
Yes.
I met one of the creative individuals behind it, and they are very passionate, and they've been working very hard to produce fiction, and I know the comic's supposed to be dropping soon. It could be great, or it could have been great, but real estate really does play a role in my decisions at this point.
Absolutely.
So that's why I didn't go in on it, but it's they look great.
Yeah, and those guys, like the guys behind it, they are great guys. I've talked to them a few times, and they've been very warm and welcoming. Like you said, I agree that it's a passion project, and I would hate to see the kind of fire die from that passion over some logistics and, a separate beef that doesn't really have anything to do with them.
But that's the thing now. Airing out dirty laundry, crowd-funded projects, like investment depends on confidence.
Agreed. So
every single business venture has drama and problems and pitfalls and overcoming pitfalls and blah, 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 blah. So, right? Like every married couple argues. Do you choose to air it out to people outside of your family, or do you keep it in-house?
Well, I air it out on Nerd Rage.
Whatever. We have the perfect marriage. We have a fight once a year. We have a blowout once a year, and we go to the beach. I blame my mother-in-law. But now everyone views you as having a troubled relationship, so that affects their view of you. So as a business, you start talking about the problems and worries and drama you're having at your business. Now, if it's like, say it's Fans Toys, okay, yay, drama, but it's not going to affect people buying the stuff because it's simply, hey, here's a product, would you like to buy it? And, then we're talking about the value of your trademark, and your name, the stuff you make. This is different. This is confidence in your ability to follow through on an investment. So if you're airing your dirty laundry or someone's airing your dirty laundry, that is now I'm concerned. I'm like, wait a minute, if I give you this money, you're showing me these problems that you're having. I don't see other people having these problems. You're now maybe a bad investment, and it's really just caused by the individual. And I think Spence called him out initially by, saying, thanks for airing all this. You just messed up several deals.
Right.
I was fixing this.
Right. And he makes a good point in there too, that like something about third party, the fandom does feel entitled to know the business end of it. And that is strange. We don't feel that way really with any other toy line, even Takara really.
But I think it's because third party is small enough, you're close enough to it where you can hear the rumors. You don't hear the rumors on these big corporations. You're so far removed from the decision making.
That's true. And there also is, I hate to use this word because it has negative connotations, but I don't really mean it that way, but there also is a little bit more deception within third party, multiple companies under one name and all that kind of stuff. And some of that has been done to hide the reputation of previous releases.
Companies in disguise.
So I think that makes people want to dig in a little deeper to protect their investment. But it is strange, like we don't see the same thing with a Sideshow and Hot Toys. Like I'm sure there's a business end of those two companies that has some drama that we're not privy to, but we don't care either. But we do care about this third party stuff.
Yeah.
I don't know. This is why, like, when it comes to stocks and bonds and all this stuff, there are rules with regard to transparency. Principle behind it is so that, the investors can have confidence in what they're investing in. So I feel like it's a different animal when...
all animals, my lady.
Sit!
Or stand, as you wish.
But this is almost a different animal because, yeah, it's a third-party company. It's first-party, actually, right?
Mhm.
But it's an investment because that's how they structured it. You know, I almost feel like they're obligated to be transparent. We should know. Now,
Right.
not necessarily the public, but the investors.
Investors. Yes, that's a
Should-
fair
Well,
point.
look at that company that made those ninjas, articulated icons, right?
Yeah.
With their hearts so cold.
And they, yeah, they had some issues
Correct.
with their thing, and they just came out and said, "Hey, look, we have some issues. We're working on it. It's going to take a little bit of time." I mean, obviously, they didn't go into what the issues are, and it took like 3 years for everybody to get their stuff, but they got it.
They got it, and people complained, but they didn't get the picket signs either. You know.
Right. Well, because I think they kind of knew what was going on. All these people are finding out, oh, shoot, I'm not going to get my figure through some TFW posts.
Exactly. What do you guys think the chances are of getting the Unrustable figures?
From Unrustables, 0.
Yes.
A KO product,
Wow.
probably likely.
Ooh, I have a more apropos response.
Okay.
Sub-Zero.
Now, what about the Tetrajets that were also crowdfunded?
I think that's good.
Yeah,
that's going to happen.
Yeah, that I don't know anything about.
Yeah, that I do feel better about.
He indicated the money's compartmentalized, and I don't
Yes.
disagree with that. That there's no issue with molds, factories. It seems like his post was more like in response to the claim that he didn't have a factory, right? And thanks for airing our airing out our dirty laundry.
Right.
But in doing that, he seemed to reveal a position that, well, your money's gone. He didn't realize that, wait a minute, now you're revealing something that's very bad for you, as a company.
For people that don't have TFW or don't read it, I just thought it was interesting which factories we're using. We never mentioned their name. You think that's important for like people that aren't going to look it up or are curious to see which?
He says it's the Fansproject factory. That's what he calls it.
Right.
I guess our official advice is to advise your investors. You don't need to, maybe that would even been the better route instead of addressing TFW to just address the investors directly through email. I'm sure that you have their email for everyone that put money up.
Right.
That might have been the
That's
best
how I
way to
think it
route.
should have been handled. Like, I think a majority of people don't read TFW. So I think about all the people that listen to you or that follow you. You have reviewed one of these figures that are now getting this information that they're not going to get their figure. Sorry, guys, to break that news to you.
Well, they didn't say it though. Like, I don't
That's
want to
true.
spread false information.
That's true.
They didn't say we're not getting it. They're just saying we're trying to figure it out. And he's just like, thanks for making things even worse by airing out this stuff.
That's
Yeah,
true.
Caliban. I don't know what the guy's name is. I just So with that being said, I just want to say in closing, an alligator, a children's choir, a father and son fishing in a storm because the dad is determined to have a relationship with his son in an effort to cope with his parents' recent divorce.
That's going to be a tricky one to find. All right. Thanks, everybody. Thanks, everybody that gave feedback. The message
Submarine.
was received loud and clear. We'll be back soon.
Of course you can.